Like, stay tuned, man. There's more of the scoop.
Have to return some videotapes. 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 Have to return some. Have to return some. Have to return some videotapes. 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 Videotapes.
Welcome all, once and again, except, it's just me, to Strange Girl Video on the Ectoviolence channel. My brother Justin will be joining us. He's just held up a little bit, but I didn't want to make you guys wait, and just wanted to get into this. I got stuff to do, I'm editing another video. I haven't actually shot it yet, but I'm shooting it later tonight and editing it if I have enough time. About Spider-Man, 2002 Spider-Man. If that does well enough, I'll follow it up with Spider-Man 2 and 3. Hello, yes, welcome in the chat. It's not showing up in my normal bar, but I am seeing it on the relaying screen, so better than nothing, I guess. Alright, I can't tell exactly what your name is, but thanks, friend. Okay, this one's showing up in the regular feed, so maybe it'll go forward. Rick, hi, I just discovered your channel and subbed after watching your recent Evil Dead video. Will you be reviewing Evil Dead Burn? I struggled with the thought of whether I wanted to do a video reviewing the full, like a regular long-form video, like a 10-minute video, But I did do a review of it live last week, I think. I think that was last week. We talked about it. I had mixed feelings. And let's just say Evil Dead 2013 is no longer my least favorite. I think they're all pretty good. I think it's a really strong franchise, but we just all have our favorites. Did you ever get the Leprechaun 4K replacement disc? I did indeed. I also debated whether or not I should do a video about that. I did get it in. I did watch it. It looked good. The Blu-ray looked good of the 4K scan that came with it before. It's just that, man, that thing looked like crap. Let me see here. Let me make sure I got my camera turned on so he can join when he decides to. But, yeah, we did Evil Dead Burn last week, and, Leprechaun, I'm doing less and less physical media on the channel. I'm still going to talk about it, especially in relevance. I'd be talking about it in that last Terminator video I did. I'm talking about it in the Spider-Man one as well. But I'm doing less of those just because I don't want to do as much technical stuff. I want to talk more about the movies themselves. I do like doing those from time to time, and I will do them for big stuff. The last big one I did was Leprechaun. I don't even know if I've done one since that. Because the channel's been blowing up for me doing these videos talking about alternate cuts and stuff, and I have a good time doing that, so I'm really not holding back with those types of videos. Jeez. They're sweet tonight. Oh, there he is. Show that booty on camera. But anyway, we saw the Odyssey as well, so we will be talking about that tonight, as well as the Avengers Doomsday trailer. I don't really talk and review Marvel stuff too much on this channel, but I do watch it. I do enjoy some of those films. These days I enjoy them more just casually. You know what I mean? The stuff I usually talk about on this channel is horror, sci-fi, or adjacent. Like, I'm talking Spider-Man 2002, but that's because we got a new Spider-Man movie coming out. Sam Raimi directed those things, and I feel like my audience will watch those videos. I don't know. If you're completely uninterested in Spider-Man 2002, speak up now. But, I got that coming out. I got a video about Land of the Dead I'm doing. August, I'm going to be talking about some Texas Chainsaw and Resident Evil. Yeah, I do hope that Wrath is better than Burn. See, I'm happy for the people that really liked Burn. I don't have issues with it, but as I said in my the live last week, it felt less like an Evil Dead movie and more like the Crazies, specifically the Crazies remake, which I actually really like. It's a really good movie. What about this lost sequel, The Killer Clowns from Long Lost Sequel, The Killer Clowns? I don't know. Never heard about a sequel to that. Pretty sure that's the only movie the Chiodos brothers ever directed, so interesting. The new Spider-Man movie looks really good in my opinion. I think it looks okay. Like, I am one of those people that suffered some burnout from these Marvel movies, but I'm gonna go see it in theaters and, you know, I'll probably have a good enough time with it. I pretty much always go see Spider-Man and Batman stuff. Like, it's bread and butter, right? Breaking Ben is in the chat. What's up? Congratulations on the 12K, man. Keep up the good work. Yeah, thank you. In March, I think I had 6K something subscribers. So we're doing pretty well. We've doubled in a few months. Hopefully it'll keep going. But Evil Dead Wrath does interest me more. Evil Dead Wrath with the whole time thing, because I was just even recently saying that, hello, Justin, I'm showing you on stream. Are you there?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to let me in. I've been sitting here for a minute just listening.
Oh, okay. Well, cool.
Had to go the old school way tonight.
Oh, nice.
Using my phone instead of my full setup. I hate to interrupt, but I got stung by 3 carpenter bees yesterday and another one today. We've got a nest by our garden, so
Jeez.
got stung in the head tonight, so that was not feeling good.
66 times in the head.
Uh-huh. Yeah, congrats on 12K, man. That's pretty awesome. You've been busting your tail over here, so I like the growth you're having. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Today we're already like at 12,200 as of today, so on the way to 13. And when I proposed to my now fiance, I had about 6,400 subscribers, and that's kind of been like my metric of time now, because it's just like it's just like a marking point, I guess. And that was
absolutely
at the end of March. So throughout April, May, June, and almost all of July, 4 months, I've doubled subscribers, and it's going really well. The videos, like the baseline for views is going up. A lot more people watching in general, engaging, watching longer. So that's all good. More people joining the Patreon and channel members. I think there's like 3 channel members and something like 11 Patreon members on different tiers. There's like a $1 tier for people who just want their name and some credits and thanks. And then there's like a $6 tier for all the extra videos. These cats are all over me.
Looks like they're missing you.
They're sweet boys. Just as I say that, he claws me because I stopped petting him. Sassy.
He's like, sir, I am not finished.
Okay. So yeah, we were talking a little bit about Evil Dead, Burn, Leprechaun, and Spider-Man. Because I'm doing that video on Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay, let me just ask you this real quick, since I know we're going to talk. We've got a number of topics to cover tonight, but what are you more hyped for? New Spider-Man or new Avengers?
this is going to be a controversial take because I know that the answer most people are giving is Spider-Man.
Okay.
But mine's going to be
You're a
Avengers.
huge fan of the X-Men.
That's
Okay.
why.
Yeah.
It's the return of Nightcrawler. Mystique. Fucking Sir Ian McKellen as Magneto. That's what's got me hyped. Like, this is the 4th Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Stewart has basically officially said this is his last role. He's retiring. So I think that's pretty incredible that they got him and Ian McKellen to come back and that they both had that kind of longevity because
Yeah.
there's not a lot of people that get into that age group and have 2 people that are as successful as they are with that kind of longevity that are still like actively working. So
Yeah.
to me,
Fucking
that's the most impressive piece is that they're still here to do this, which is awesome.
Ian McKellen's about to film a new Lord of the Rings movie. I don't know what
Mhm.
that man's up to.
Yeah, man, I remember like reading the magazines in the 90s for like dream casting. What was that? Was that Toy Fair magazine where they do like I'm trying to remember, that may have been Toy Fair. But basically like, this is before the X-Men movie even happened and everyone is like, "Oh yeah, Patrick Stewart has got to be Charles Xavier." And you're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah. I mean, he's got it. He's got the look. He's got the acting chops. Let's do it."
Pretty
And
much.
here we are. He's still going. So I'm excited to see that.
At the same time, I'm not that excited about either of them. I'm kind of just like middle of the road. Like, I was stoked to see that trailer, but also everything that was in the trailer was kind of already revealed months ago. If you follow any sort of movie news about that stuff, like
Mhm.
people saw that trailer at a different convention or something and released full play-by-plays of exactly what happened in the trailer. So it was kind of like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's what that looks like.
Yeah, the description's already out there. What was that? Was that the Show West CinemaCon thing or whatever it was in Vegas,
Yeah.
where they do all the debates, basically the convention for like theater owners association. So
Yeah, it was earlier this year, but I don't know.
I mean, I'm hyped for them.
I'm going to see him.
I would say these two I'm more excited about than things I've been excited about in a while.
Even
And
the
I
things
guess
I
at
was
this,
excited about, I didn't like that Captain America: Brave New World. I was excited about it ahead of time because it's one of the few people that liked the show that they
Mhm.
did with those characters, and
Yeah,
the movie did not stand up to that. It's okay for a minute, but then it was like, oh god.
yeah, we just hit that saturation point where they're doing quantity over quality and then COVID really fucked up just the amount of movies out there and the amount of content that shifted from like let's completely shift from movie and theatrical to TV series, and it was a mixed bag. And I mean, I want to be excited again. I mean, I've got several Marvel tattoos. Like I was a huge All-In fan up until that, and I just kind of reached the burnout point, and I'm hoping to get some of that magic back. Same thing with Star Wars. I'm just at that burnout point there. So
Here's the interesting thing: I went through and would just watch the original trilogy after I watched the prequel trilogy, and those because I just hadn't watched them in like 10 years because of how everything's been.
mhm.
And I was like, oh, yeah, these are still good. But I kind of like, and then I watched Rogue One actually in there, in between them. And that made me want to watch A New Hope, so I continued on. And then eventually I was just kind of like, I watched Force Awakens, but I didn't finish it.
Yeah, I get that.
I think I will, because I want to give those all another shot. Because I am
Yeah.
one of those people that thinks Last Jedi is better than whatever the fuck, Skywalker, Rise of Skywalker, whatever the fuck what was dumb title, but anyway,
Yeah.
the fact that I don't know a name of the Star Wars movie is alarming.
The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, no, I feel that because I've been rewatching them intermittently with my boys. They're big into Star Wars now, so I'm just glad they kind of got there on their own without me having to push them to do it. But I haven't watched it all in order. Like they just kind of want to watch random stuff. They're not so gung ho about, oh, I got to watch them all in order and everything. So we'll get there eventually, but I
Yeah.
totally agree with that. Like, I would like to watch them all in order and just kind of see how I feel about everything. You know, because
Yeah.
I just kind of got burned out with some of the TV series and stuff like that. Like the longer form content is pretty good, but after the Mandalorian and Grogu, I just like,
This thing is about Kenobi and Boba Fett would have been better as movies because there's a good movie in there in the amount of episodes there is for everything, I think, or at least a watchable, like, oh, I want to sit down and watch this, because never am I like, man, I want to sit down and watch the Boba Fett show again, and I love Boba Fett. And sometimes I
yeah,
like have that inkling of like, I would like to watch that story again, but like, god damn them for making it. Was it? That might have only been like 4 episodes even, but still, should have just made a goddamn movie.
yeah. I just in the Kenobi series, they're talking about doing another season of that, and I'm just like, the
Okay,
first season was already like so much stuff shoehorned in there that basically retconned A New Hope, and so I'm just like, you know what? I don't know.
yeah, I mean, the best part of that series, yeah, is definitely seeing Obi-Wan fight Anakin again. But the thing is, it also kind of
It,
negates the history. But it's like, if you do another season, what are you going to do it again? I don't think
well,
so.
yeah. I mean,
Because you can't top that unless you're going to be like, oh, I don't know, something. Fucking.
yeah. I just don't know what you do with that.
And I'm a huge. I actually really wanted that show to be good, and I like bits and pieces of it again. Like I said, I think you could cut it into a movie that's watchable. But
Yeah, I mean, I would say there was the problem with some of the Star Wars, in my opinion. Obviously, I've not watched all the cartoons completely through and stuff like that, just because
me
I
neither.
just
Fucking
there's just so much, and some of it I've watched and really enjoyed. Like I've watched basically all of Rebels. I've liked that, so that's helped with some of the live action shows. It made me enjoy those more, but you know,
hmm
I'm just kind of at that spot where like I'm waiting for something to like bring the magic back.
yeah. I didn't even see the Mandalorian and Grogu in theaters, which is nuts. I just had
Yeah,
no interest. I was like, I'll see you later. Whenever it
as
goes to
someone
Disney
who's
Plus, I'm sure I'll eventually sit down. But I had never watched season 3 of that show even. So
yeah, and I'm at that spot where I've tried to get into it, but I'm just burned out enough where I need the magic. I need something different, something special. And it's crazy to say, but like the original trilogy is all based around Force users and things like that. I get Star Wars is a huge universe, but
yeah,
like the lack of any kind of Force using characters with any kind of development that doesn't just completely retcon like the entire original trilogy of like people not being there.
I
And then
definitely
like,
think the best portrayal of that was in Rogue One with the guy who used to
oh,
guard the Kyber crystal temple.
yeah, he's Force sensitive, but not a full Force user. I get that.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's like I mean, you could argue he is a full Force user. He's just not a fucking Jedi. He's not in their religion. Is all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you go down
Because
that
the
route
more I
and it's
watch these things, the more I do be like I was watching episode 1. This I should do a whole video about this, but it's just like, are you here to free the slaves? No, I could, but no.
hmm
We're just gonna leave your
well,
mom
that's
here as a slave because you know.
I mean, that's like modern religion or our religion, which is crazy. Like for me to want more of like the Jedi stories and things like that are fun, exciting,
Yeah,
and then in like real life, I want nothing to do with it because all religion does is bring war and death and bloodshed. And I'm like, well, wait a second. That does make for good movies when it's set in a fantasy world because that mirrors real life in so many ways.
yeah. I mean, I think about it and I'm like, man, you should have killed the guy who was kept you guys as a slave for years, and not all the sand people. They didn't make her work. At least they just tied her up in a fucking hut.
Yeah, I mean, you should have killed the bug.
That guy
Water.
was a fucking
Oh,
slave owner. Annie.
Annie, are you okay, Annie? Honey, are you okay? Are you okay?
No, honey. Fucking ugh. Yeah, but yeah, that was my latest take on Star Wars. Is that the Jedi's were pansies that didn't do enough. I mean, they were willing to fucking like in the first movie also just like invade and go forcefully make those people open the trade route or whatever at the beginning of the movie, but not free slaves.
Helping slaves.
Like you
I mean,
fucking
yeah.
shills, you fucking corporate losers.
It mirrors like what people do in real religions. They're like, yeah, we pick and choose what we follow. I'm like, yeah, some of us are kind of into that. Some of us
Yeah.
aren't. Who knows?
Now, once you get to the rebellion, they're pretty hardcore militant leftists. They're tankies.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's both sides of the extreme. So yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
We got way sidetracked off on Star Trek or Star Wars.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
What are you, a
losing my mind
grandma?
here.
You watching in Star Trek with the lightsabers and the robot men?
I don't know. I just got to see how. Can't see this bee sting, but I'm just hoping I didn't have an allergic reaction because I got stung 3 times yesterday and once tonight. So they say if you're allergic, the next time you get stung can be worse. So I don't know. I haven't swallowed it too much, Jack. Can you understand what I'm saying?
Only time will tell. This is like a live. We'll watch you slowly. You're blowing up like a balloon, like a blueberry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, yeah,
So-
I was sorry. I watched Wonka the other night. I had a bunch of chocolate and candy, and I watched it because you can't do that. I was like thinking about watching it the last couple of weeks, and then while I was at the store, I was like, you know what? I got to get some chocolate because I can't watch that later.
I was gonna say if you watch that movie without treats to enjoy it with, it literally ruins the movie and it ruins your experience because you're not able to
Pisses you
taste
off.
those things. Yeah, you should be able to smell and taste because it just causes cravings watching that.
Yeah.
So I saw the Odyssey last night. You saw it.
Yeah. What? Yeah, sorry. I was reading some comments. I'm going to show them to you as well. I guess I didn't make them visible to you. You could help me keep up with them. The latest 3 comments I haven't read. Did you guys hear about the 3-part Batman Nightfall coming out? I did not. Is that like a cartoon movie? Have not heard about it. And then, or is it a video game? I don't know. A 3-part already? Is it a comic? That'd be hilarious. It's the last thing I guess. What is the best 4K player to own in your your opinion? I guess what?
So that's fascinating because
I don't have an answer for that.
I've got a coworker of mine who's really big into home theater and stuff, and he's one of the guys I talk to about physical media pretty much every time I see him at work, which is usually every Wednesday for meetings and stuff. And there's only a couple models out there, really. Like lots of people try to bash the PS5 disc version, but I think there's like a Panasonic version and there's like a standalone Sony version, and neither of those have had updates, like any kind of updates to the hardware or any new models come out in years. So
I have a Panasonic and I'm fine with it. You know?
Yeah, and that Panasonic model I think is the one that's been out there for years without any updates, and that's fine. So like,
yeah, it's
if
one
you
of the
play
cheaper
games at all-
models. So
yeah, and I think there's probably only 5 or 6 in the market total. It's not like there's a lot of options out there like Blu-ray players used to be, or even DVD players for that matter.
Scareticulous. There we go. That's got to be it, right? Scareticulous. You would think with 12,000 subs that YouTube would promote your stream to your subscribers. They go on to say, like, I got less subs than you and I'll get more viewers in the chat. YouTube is dumb. Yeah, that's the thing. My channel is, most of those subscribers come from long form videos, though, not from doing these lives. I really think that's what it comes down to. So a lot of my viewers and audience doesn't necessarily watch lives. So it varies, you know. Sometimes we have anywhere from like 5 to 10 people, sometimes 20, 30 people. And some of them get more views afterwards. The Evil Dead Burn one was the best performing one in a while after we ended it, actually, from last week. It has like 400 views, which is good for a live stream for us. So it's not bad. I'm not like super mad about it. Sure, do I wish we had more viewers? Sure, but a lot of people watch the main channel videos, and sometimes people end up coming over from the live. They will see it's live or they won't. And I promote it on Instagram.
Yeah, and to be fair, I mean, we started doing this show before you had your channel, and then obviously you grew this channel pretty organically, and then just based on logistics and making good decisions, we brought the show over here to do live on your channel. So it's Strange Little Video on the Ectoviolence channel, and it's working out pretty well for us. I mean, I enjoy doing it over here. I love all the people in the chat commenting and talking with us, and I think that's one thing we really aim to do is if someone's going to take the time to interact with us in the chat, we're going to acknowledge that and try to have a real discussion with everybody here that's tuning in, because I mean, how many times do you watch something and there's too many people to chat? So like,
Yeah.
I would love more people to be in here, but I do enjoy the ability for us to really engage anyone that's watching and really kind of,
Yeah.
fully take the experience on.
Yeah. And like I said, that 12K just wasn't built on our lives.
Mm-mm.
So I think that's really what it comes down to. But I'm sure it'll continue to grow. It's already, I can tell in the last couple months we have significantly more viewers usually. Now it tells me there's only 3 viewers right now, but
Yeah, and we've been better about, if we don't have anything that we think is show worthy, we don't just go live just to go live. We're waiting until we've got actually something to discuss. So I think that always helps too. Just being mindful of, Alec has so much awesome content on this channel that if you need your fix, you got pretty much anything to choose from. So we're not going to try to dumb it down and give people a show that's not worthy of enjoying.
Yeah, this is way more casual. Like my videos are pretty much a particular type of video, and usually sometimes they're a little more free, but this is obviously a very chill environment. We have it in the video store because it's supposed to be kind of like just talking in a video store, that's the video, the backgrounds that the text pops up over. I think you have to stream, Scarticulous says, I think you have to stream like at least 3 or 4 times a week to gain a regular live viewer base. Yeah, that's the thing is we stream about once a week, usually. And once I start doing this more, because right now I have a regular job as well, obviously. But eventually, hopefully, I won't have that job. It's just a fucking serving job at a bar, so not much holding me there, you know what I mean? So once YouTube is doing well enough, I'll make that switch over, and I'll probably do lives a little bit more often. Maybe only twice a week, I don't know. Really depends.
Yeah, I know for me, it really worked out over the last couple of years because I went back to school and just finished my degree while Alec has really been busting his tail over here on growing this channel. And so it's been nice that we've both been able to achieve personal goals, and Alec is really pushing towards being able to take this channel full time is really what it's kind of organically growing to at a pretty steady pace. So that's really what's awesome. And yeah, we'll do our shows once a week, and hopefully Alec will be able to do more lives otherwise. And you'll probably see me pop in occasionally, just depending on what's going on or what he's talking about.
And for those who don't know, before we switch into the Odyssey, I got another subject to bring up that'll just throw things off. But we have been working on a short film series that you can check out. It has its own channel called the Cathode Ray Initiative. It's basically a found footage / analog horror short series. And I say short, I mean like short film. It's not YouTube shorts. So they're like long form videos, but they're shorter videos.
Yeah, they're not like...
It's a whole thing to explain. But either way, they're pretty interesting. We're building up a whole bunch of lore and just posting on there for fun. That's not anything that we're like, man, we're going to take this to Hollywood. But we're doing it for fun. We like to be creative and do stuff, tell stories. So we're doing something over there. Go over there and check it out if you're interested.
Yeah, for us, it's been like fascinating working on this in the background because there's like, I mean, I was super impressed with how quickly Alec learned and adapted to do some of this stuff. Like, well, we've been kind of bouncing lore ideas back and forth and making a pretty robust catalog and um, story guide really to work from and kind of
Yeah.
go crazy with if we ever had the opportunity. So it's been fun to do something a little bit different, and I'm excited to.
There's extremely minimum like public domain footage. The rest of it is all like created or shot by us. I learned Blender just so I could do this shit just for fun.
Yeah.
I actually
learned
haven't used
Blender
it in a
like
few
week.
weeks, but yeah, I was just like watching tutorial after tutorial, and I'm still not an expert in it by any means. But I know what I'm doing enough to do what you see in the shorts.
Yeah, no, I've shown some coworkers that I'm like, hey, here's a little project I'm kind of working on here, and everyone's like, really? He was able to do that quick, and
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
I did the music. We're doing the graphics, just photoshopping graphics and then putting them in there, and then I scanned it all to actual VHS, before I uploaded its authenticity. I actually
Yeah, and
double scanned.
I've got some cool props we're going to be able to use for those that I'm working on right now. So getting those things kind of ready to go. So that was a cool little plug there on the cathode ray initiative.
Before we get into this, one more question, just because I'm seeing it. Scarticulus. I'm gonna fuck that name up just because I'm an idiot. What's the horror TV show or movie you both are looking forward to the most? You know what? I actually just heard about one that I'm really stoked about. Maybe not the most, but it's called Below. It's about a sea monster. It's gonna be a Netflix show, so depending on how you feel about that, that might sway your opinion one way or the other. I think Netflix gets a bad rap at this point just because they put up so much stuff, and they put out stuff that's good. They've put out stuff that's good, and then that's turned bad. They've put out stuff that's good and canceled it immediately. So they piss a lot of people off. But this one has Josh Hartnett in it. It has Rohan Campbell from Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Halloween Ends. And it's got that kid from Stranger Things who played Jonathan.
Oh, okay.
But it's about some sort of sea monster or something. It's called Below. It's coming out, I think, October. Obviously, that Crystal Lake, I'm stoked for. I mean, maybe not as much as other people. Other people are also probably a lot more skeptical of if it's going to be any good or not. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited for Crystal Lake to a level of like, I say excited and I'm going to watch it. I have low expectations. I hope to be surprised and delighted by it, but only time will tell.
Ghostbusters Night Shift.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. That's going to be.
Once I see
all
some
we've had is a
artwork,
couple of stills
I'll
and a
probably
premise.
have like a raw emotional reaction to it.
Yeah, once they show like some actual footage, then I think I can get a true reaction to it. Because right now there's only a couple of stills out there, a logo, and some synopsis and stuff. And I think Netflix has a landing page for it now with the synopsis of the series. So
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I'm gonna see the new Resident Evil. I'm like, vaguely excited for it. I don't know what to think about it, but I trust the director enough, and I liked Weapons a lot. Barbarian, so like, should probably be pretty good. There's something else I feel like coming out soon.
yeah, I don't have my notes in front of me. I'm doing this from my phone tonight instead of my laptop, so I can't really spot check what I have my notes on because I'm using my phone right now. But
Yeah, I don't have my.
yeah, I feel like there's something else. I don't know. If I think of it, I'll drop it in the comments here. But yeah, I'm just excited for spooky season, man. I'm loving all the Halloween stuff that's starting to pop up in stores right now.
I'm
already.
beyond excited, yeah, because
Yeah,
I'm doing Halloween and Friday the 13th videos.
Oh yeah,
all
that'll be
through that
awesome.
month, and it's
Yeah.
being interesting. They are working on a new Chucky movie. We haven't heard much on that, other than that it is getting worked on. Probably still in the writing and negotiating phase and whatnot. They announced the new Freddy movie. I think we've talked about that. I guess we should move on to the Odyssey, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 3-hour movie, so.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to talk about it for 20 minutes and then be like, all right.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm not going to go plot by plot on this.
This, I'll just at first address that this movie has so much weird controversy around it. Don Mancini destroyed Chucky. Yeah, but he also created him. So, like, I don't know. You should go watch my videos on Chucky. You'd know how much I love Don Mancini and the entire franchise. I did a whole video about why Seed of Chucky deserves an apology, because it's basically just rage baiting you, and everybody took the rage bait instead of understanding the transgressive film that it is with John Water. Anyway, but I also like just about every Chucky movie except the remake. I don't know. I think he's going to... Well, I just couldn't guess about the tone of the next movie. Let's just say that. Because he does tend to... Similar to Godzilla, and that's what I like about both of these franchises. There are various serious in tone movies that are like just pretty strict horror movies with a killer doll, with a serial killer in them.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some weird fucking shit. And I like both of those. I like serious movies, and I like that weird shit. But the Odyssey, basically, I think the thing about it, the controversy is everybody was just upset about them casting a black actor and a trans actor, and the roles they played was just fucking negligible at best. Elliot Page's role was kind of important, but still very small on screen.
Mm-hmm.
If you had genuine critiques of their performances or anything, that's valid. But like, I don't feel like that's going to happen. Anybody who claims they do is really just going to be like pissing and nitpicky because they're a bigot.
Yeah,
like, let's be honest.
mean,
like I don't care about historical accuracy. Like, you hear the language they're using in this movie, and like it's not necessarily caring about historical accuracy, buddy.
No, it doesn't care about historical accuracy.
And it's not a historical event. I don't know if I have to remind people that those dudes didn't turn into pigs. That didn't happen.
A work of fiction, just an old work of fiction. I think a lot of people forget that too. It's like just a modern take on that.
Yeah, it's Christopher Nolan's take. Yeah,
it's gonna piss a few people off probably, but
that's the thing.
I thought the movie was good. I didn't think it was great. I thought there's tons of people out there I've seen way over fucking hyping this movie.
I think that's in reaction to the negative. It's similar to Ghostbusters 2016, I would guess, where especially during the hype for the movie, everybody that likes the movie's like, you know what? You are a fucking idiot for thinking it's this bad, so I have to now overcompensate.
You think the opposite sides of this?
Because if you just didn't like the movie, that's fine, right? You know what I mean? The thing about this is I don't really normally go for these types of movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So it's not in my wheelhouse, really. I've seen Troy. I've seen a couple of those, like the Gladiator movies. The first one, I guess. I didn't see the second one they did. Yeah. Those types of movies, I'll watch like once and I'll be like, I'll have a good time watching it, but then I'm never feel like watching it again. The Odyssey, I'm going to revisit at least once just because there's a fucking lot going on, and I do think there's some really interesting things I do like about it. It's particularly the horror scenes. There's like 3 scenes in particular that were like, fuck yeah, I like this. But if you're not too familiar with the story, I also think it's a hard watch.
Yeah,
Like
you have
it's
to
you're
know
like
where
what
the story's at.
pretty much
Especially
beat
with
for
the
beat.
editing. Yeah, the editing is what kind of makes that difficult.
Because
So,
I had a book of this as a child that had all these pictures and stuff. So I remembered the Cyclops in the cave. I remembered the men turning into pigs. I remembered
yeah.
the sirens. I
Mhm.
remembered a couple other things. The version I read as a kid had him called Ulysses because he's called that in other versions. And
Yeah.
but like, so I was familiar enough with it. But there's a lot of people just basically pretending that like they're huge fucking fans of this, and like that's the discourse around this film is just super weird and annoying in general. It is not the best movie ever made, and it is not the worst movie ever made by any means. It is probably going to get some Oscars. Maybe not for best screenplay or stuff like that. There's something in there. I really liked the music, for
So
example.
the music was fascinating. I read a little bit of an article about that basically said he tried to not, that Nolan specifically said not to use an orchestra because orchestras didn't exist back then. So that he did a lot of percussive instruments and a lot of old, ancient inspired stringed instruments that just weren't, to the level of caliber that, a modern orchestra would have.
I was gonna say there's some of that, and then there's just synthy shit. And I don't know if maybe it's
Yeah.
not synthy, maybe it's just processed stuff, but like it sounds synthy. It sounds like
Yes.
in a way that clashes with it in an awesome way. So that's one of the things I compliment.
The score and sound design was one of my favorite things about the movie. The surprise role that I really liked in the movie, John Leguizamo, was fucking awesome. I
I knew
really
he was
liked that
in
character.
the movie early on, but I didn't know he was going to be one of the strongest roles in the movie for sure. Like how much he was in it. One of my favorite actors of all time, anyway. Funny enough, I've just watched Land of the Dead a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
Before
okay.
that, I
Yeah.
watched The Happening, and he's what makes me
hmm
want to watch that movie, The Happening, because of his character in that movie. But yeah, he was
You
great.
for Yeah, you forget how good he is, and I think that's a role for him that could potentially earn him like a best supporting nomination at least,
Yeah,
because he did a role there that really pushes what we're used to from out of him. I mean, he does serious roles well, but he's never done anything quite like this. And then, as a comedian, he gets a lot of those screwball, like physical comedy or comic relief roles too, just because of his timing. And, this felt like it was, it was like, damn, his chops are really fucking good. I was
yeah.
really impressed.
Um, Matt Damon did fine. No critiquable elements of his performance necessarily.
hmm
This version of Odysseus is interesting. This version of this movie is interesting, I should say, because it doesn't portray him as like super heroic necessarily. It kind of portrays him as a bit of a dumbass and like not the best person necessarily. Obviously, I mean these are different times entirely, but like it's not. I don't even know how exactly I'm trying to say this, but he's just not the typical hero for these types of movies,
Well, he's
and
not a faultless hero or a flawless hero, right?
and
He's
not even one
a
that
troubled man.
he's not super likable is what I'm even saying, like to the viewer, and he
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily have to be if that's intentional, sure, but sure, whatever,
No.
he's fine.
And then Robert Pattinson killed it too.
Yeah, he
I
did
mean, he
good.
plays a guy that is just, you just despise his character because he's just skeezy the whole time, you
Yeah,
know?
um, yeah, he's a bummer in this movie. And
Yeah.
then Tom Holland did fine for what he was given. I don't think there's a whole lot to work with.
Well,
But
and
it's
for me, it
fine.
was so weird seeing like Tom Holland get like beat up, because he
He's
takes
ripped.
his physical. Yeah, that dude is ripped from all the Spider-Man roles and all the stunts he's done
I
over
was
the
about to
years,
say
and so
if
to see him play like a weakling was just like, you guys are kidding me, right?
right, if there's anyone that would beat everyone's ass on this film set, it would be him.
Yeah, and it was interesting to see that. And I think about Tom Holland's career trajectory right now, and like really before Spider-Man, he wasn't well known. He's done some other roles, but he's so ingrained as Spider-Man to us for the past decade that it takes some getting used to see him in a different role. And it's not to say that I didn't like it, but for
Mhm.
me, like the ability to suspend disbelief, like knowing what he's capable of and the amount of stunts he's done on himself for himself in the other movies, is like, okay, this guy's way more of a fighter than you're portraying him. So
So then you had Charlize Theron as Calypso. That was interesting and fine. Then I can't remember the actress' name, but she's in the Joy Division movie Control as Ian Curtis's wife, Deborah Curtis, and she's also in The Walking Dead, I believe, as one of the villains near the end of the series. And she played Cersei, and
okay.
that was an awesome scene. I don't even know if I might like that more than the Cyclops scene.
Mm-hmm.
Where they took liberties with it, like she's morphing them into these fucking pigs in this, and that was so gnarly. Like it's not horrifying enough that you can't watch, but it's just the right level of body horror,
Yeah, the real piece of that to me was when you see her stuff her full arm down like the mouth and like stretch the jaw. I was like, oh, that's the real good body horror right there. That was great.
It was like
Very uncomfortable and unsettling to watch.
it was like what Beetlejuice wishes they could have done. You know what I mean? When they're doing all that face stretching shit with claymation, it was like that, but with modern effects.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the Cyclops scene was awesome. I do like how they didn't just make a giant CGI Cyclops. They instead did like a practical person in a fucking costume. And whether I don't know how they shot that, if it was perspective or if they just combined shots, I'm sure that's probably what they did. But
I think they combined shots. I heard there was no green screen for this or minimal green screen, but yeah.
the minimum CGI, I'm sure too, but
yeah,
still plenty. But yeah.
Yeah, that was a fascinating scene too, and I like the version of the Cyclops we get, because typically you just get like somebody that's got one eye in the middle of their head, and that really looked cool because you had this Cyclops that basically looks like it has like birth defects or something wrong with it genetically. So to kind of explain that, the only thing on that is, it's not in the book, but like, how do you become one giant creature yourself? And like, where's the rest of them? Like, how are you the last of your species and you're deformed?
Well, he's like also supposed to be Poseidon's son.
Mm-hmm.
And that's interesting. I do like the way they didn't necessarily portray the gods as like physical beings all the time. He's like hallucinating Athena, or he's not hallucinating, depending on how you watch the movie, I guess. But, and that was Zendaya. I don't know how you say her name.
Zendaya, yeah, I think it's usually how I hear it said.
Whatever. I got it right the first time. That means, but. Fucking A. Who else is in this
She
thing?
was great because she like kind of appears like that fever dream. The giants were pretty cool. You know what the giants reminded me of though? The giants, especially their armor, and I don't know if it was just the color or the way it was, but it just reminded me of Super Shredder from Ninja Turtles 2 at the end. And it was basically the size of them compared to the regular men, compared to like the Turtles versus the Super Shredder, and then like the coloring of the silver and the costume design is really reminding me of Super Shredder. And I was like, oh, I can dig that. Like, I'm sure that Christopher Nolan did not do that intentionally, but that's just where my mind went.
Yeah.
And so I got a kick out of that.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan in general is just one of those guys he's made enough movies at this point that we've crossed into a point where people like to hate him for multiple reasons now. Now because of this woke trash, the Odyssey, and also just because he's been popular for so long. And you know what I mean? I'm not like Christopher Nolan's number one fanboy by any means. I like half of his fucking movies. Particular, I like Interstellar's okay. I don't like it as much as other people. I think it's mainly a 2001 ripoff that, you know, whatever. It kind of fucks itself up in the third act, but it's a pretty great movie. Inception, I like. The Dark Knight is good, right? The Prestige, excellent. I don't care for some of his other shit. I just don't. And I'm not like gonna just defend him, but I do think there's like this weird state that we live in with Christopher Nolan these days, where like it's just so divided. You talk to anybody about Christopher Nolan on the internet, and it's like they either fucking hate him and think he's the devil, or they think he's a god. There's not a lot of middle ground anymore. And I'm kind of like...
He's become so big, and I will say, I do appreciate, you know, because like he has movies out there that I don't think I've ever seen anything of his and hated it. I've seen plenty of stuff that I'm just like, okay, watch it once and move on, and like have no plans to revisit currently. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw the Odyssey, and like, will I rewatch it? Yeah, I'll probably watch it when it hits streaming because I really enjoyed the score. I kind of want to be able to immerse myself in that again at home.
Yeah.
But for a 3-hour movie, I'm just like, the rewatchability for me is not quite there with this one. And it's not because it's a bad movie. It's just that I am not like a crazy gung-ho person about the Odyssey as a story is something that I want to indulge in all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess my final point before we give scores for this would be that, like, sure, the people that are rating this a 10 out of 10 and, like, the best Nolan film ever and, like, the best film of the year, those people are ridiculous. But not as ridiculous as the people who are pissed off about a black woman or a trans man being in this movie. Those people, are sad.
And those people have no idea about the historical accuracy of anything, because if you look back to like Greek bathhouses, Roman bathhouses, and all that stuff, like gender was way more fluid back then. Sexuality was way more fluid back then.
Also, I just don't care that much about the Odyssey, like you said. Like we're not gonna fight on this hill.
Well, yeah, the casting is the casting. Like, I don't give a shit either way because he didn't go historically accurate, so I really don't give a fuck if any of the actors are accurate or not. It doesn't matter at that point.
I did like
conversation topic.
I did like Elliot Page's performance though. When he's covered in mud and doing that whole thing, like back from the dead
in Hades, that was really cool.
That was the scene. The one with him before was okay, but I was like, okay. He's not even in this movie that much for you to be pissed either.
Yeah, and I don't see why people care, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we could go down a whole tangent on that. I'm just going to skip that tangent right now. So we don't need to do that. I'm going to give this 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it's at least a 3.5 or a 4 out of 10 for sure. For me, or I mean 3.5 or 4 out of 5. Sorry.
Okay.
Didn't mean to like tank it there for a second. I think it's a great filmmaking. It's good for what it is. I just personally don't give as much of a fuck as other people do about this story or every single Christopher Nolan film. As like a fan of Christopher Nolan, I'm not one of those people like Tarantino. If he puts out a movie, I'm going to see it. I am not that way with Christopher Nolan. I used to be with like Wes Anderson, and I haven't seen his last like 3 fucking movies.
Yeah, Wes Anderson and Chris Nolan, I think, are in that kind of same ballpark now. They had very unique perspectives for a very long time, but they've gotten so big that, you know, people's expectations sometimes become bigger than what that person's even capable of.
Well, I think these are all very comparable because these are all the typical film bro directors, you know, like all the high-class film people. Like, I'm in a couple groups on Facebook, and I saw some people in one of them trashing the Odyssey as like mainstream slop because they just like only like underground films and like really highbrow shit. And I'm like, it's funny because the people who like are championing the Odyssey think that they are that person that is also like championing fine film and shit. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just a very weird world. I'm like, you can
it
enjoy
is.
multiple kinds of movies, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy cheaply made, terrible horror movies as much as I enjoy like major motion pictures.
Hey,
Now, from a technical standpoint, do I think the Odyssey is crazy? Yeah, I mean, obviously they shot a ton of this in IMAX. They've done 70
yeah,
millimeter IMAX prints. They've done 70 millimeter prints. Like the care that goes into the presentation of this is why I appreciate Christopher Nolan. More so than the storytelling sometimes, right?
depends on the
His
movie.
love of the craft of filmmaking is what makes him a good director in most cases,
Yeah.
right? He cares about the end product. Now, whether or not that relates or lands with everybody, like I said, 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5, that's a good score. Is that perfect? No. Am I going to watch this movie again? Not anytime soon.
I'll watch it eventually on streaming, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I'm
at
not
some
going to
point in time, I
necessarily
want to
buy
watch
it.
it. But I'm not looking like, oh, when it comes to streaming in 2 months, that I'm just be like, oh, I got to get that.
We got a couple of
Yeah.
comments to get through. Just catch up on those. Lion Slaying Sleeping. My 7-year-old loves the movie The Visit, so we're watching it now. Do you guys have an opinion on that M. Night controversy? Do you mean... I don't know what controversy you're talking about, to be honest. Does he have a controversy? Is it to do with that movie specifically? That's actually one I haven't seen, The Visit. I've heard about it. I haven't seen it. I really like M. Night, and I think he's one of those directors that after a while people just started shitting on way too much. Maybe it
Uh-huh.
was because of The Happening and the Avatar movie. The Avatar movie is probably really what did it, I guess. But Sixth Sense is fucking incredible. Unbreakable was great. Split was good. Signs is fucking phenomenal, though. Like, that's just such a good movie. He makes good shit, and he produces some good shit, too.
Well, you forget. So, as a dad, I was watching Stuart Little the other day because I was just looking for something that I hadn't seen because that kind of came out at a time where I wasn't in there. But having, read the Michael J. Fox books earlier this year, I knew he did the voice for that. I was like, oh shit, I'll check that out finally. And M. Night Shyamalan's a writer on that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know that just because I'd never like gone down that rabbit hole. I've just really kind of associated him with directing, but obviously, lots of folks start somewhere, and that he wrote that. I was like, okay, that's a completely different writing style than what he typically does with this stuff. And he got thrown down the whole rabbit hole of his twist ending or like kind of a plot twist. So, it was like, you, people called the M. Night twist because there's always like, what's the twist? Oh, M.
Yeah.
Night Shyamalan, what's the twist, right? So I think he could do himself some favors by like doing a story that doesn't have some kind of crazy twist just to say, I'm not a one-trick pony, but
I don't think
the
he...
same,
I
I don't think he
think...
cares to. He's just going to do what he wants.
Yeah, I don't think they all... They don't all have the same type of twists either, and it's... I don't know. I don't see that as a valid criticism, because I don't know.
Oh, I don't know if people said that as a criticism, but just more or less
They
a
do.
cliche of him. Oh, okay.
But, okay. These, Fourth says, these same people never complain about Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Yeah, that's another movie that's basically a tale of Homer's The Odyssey, if you didn't know, and everybody's talking about that on the internet right now, specifically because they're like, this is a better version. That's a fine movie. But again, I've watched it like twice, and I don't know if I will ever watch it again. Did the Coen brothers do that too?
I think so. Yeah, I watched that.
Pretty sure
once,
they did.
Just to
It's
say
not,
that I've
it's
seen
like
it.
it's like a good movie, but like it's not necessarily my type of movie either.
Well, it's solid performances, and I mean, just look how many different versions of the Odyssey have been made since motion pictures started.
Yeah. There's people
Right, I
talking about
mean-
the 90s like TV version too.
Got the 90s TV versions, the versions before that, like the type of versions we would have watched at school when we covered this in like world history as
I think
part
there's-
of
yeah,
learning
like a
about ancient Greece.
There's a pretty famous 60s version, I want to say it's from the 60s. But again,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think that's
know enough or give enough of a fuck.
yeah. I'm not gonna go watch that because I watched Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, right? I'm not gonna go down an Odyssey like rabbit hole. Like
Yeah.
we went through the Odyssey story, and when we covered Greek history in junior high or whatever the hell that was, and it's good to know, but it's not like, ooh, that's my favorite thing to watch adaptations of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to be pissed when I said, I just thought I thought it was good.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not
that's the
great.
thing is with this movie, like I was trying to frame this because there isn't a lot of middle ground for it. I've seen maybe one other person's review of it that was like, it was okay.
Yeah.
Like it was good. And I think it's better than I think it is. I think my personal taste just isn't it. And I'm fully willing to admit that and recognize that. I just don't give a fuck as much as someone else might like these Greek stories and they're like, holy shit, I love
Yeah.
this. Or they have a different opinion about it. They hate it even because they love Greek stuff and they think it fucked it up. Valid, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I went in with low expectations just because I wasn't super hyped on this. I figured I would get a solid movie out of this. I will say one thing that I truly appreciated for a 3-hour movie. I never felt like I was watching the clock, or I felt like there's pacing issues. Sometimes when you get to a 3-hour movie, there's pacing issues that really feel like you're like, oh my God, when are we going to get to the point? But this movie's pacing and stuff was good enough to let it ebb and flow between the different story elements that needed to be told.
Yeah.
So,
I do think it was, like I said, a little hard to follow because of the way they cut it, like you said, but
hmm
it's mainly because I know probably more than the average person or remember more about than the average person about the story, I feel like, before seeing it,
hmm
Because I feel like nobody really remembers or gives too much of a fuck. There's going to be people who are historians and, people who are really into that who will know, but
absolutely. But when you talk about like a general movie audience, yeah, that's definitely an advantage to have to understand the story or not have to like read something on your way in. Be like, okay, give me like a recap of what the Odyssey is and what to expect.
yeah.
Yeah, so I
Well,
had fun with that. I don't regret seeing it, but I'm not in a rush to watch it again. I'm not going to tell someone not to see it. It's
yeah.
definitely a movie you should probably see once if you like, big epic tales.
Yeah. Well, that's about it for this week. We will maybe be back next week. I'm not sure. The following week is when Spider-Man comes out, so we'll probably talk about that.
Yeah, I'm sure we will see what else is going on in the world.
And as always, stay creepy. I don't ever say that. I don't know why I said as always.